Hey everybody, JP here, and today we're going to talk about some creative ways to use the PCM42 delay, actually the PSP42 plugin in particular, on heavy rhythm guitars. I'm not really going to bother getting into lead guitars. I feel like using a delay on leads isn't really anything special, but there are a couple really cool ways to use this on rhythms, going back to the old legend of Andy Wallace discovering the input limiter on his PCM42s during the mixing of Rain and Blood from Slayer. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's a story that's been going around the internet since the 90s, the old rec.audio.pro Usenet group before website forums were a thing. So I don't know. Personally, I learned this from Tim Gillis at Big Blue Meanie. It was one of his favorite things to do on guitars. I think he worked at Quantum Sound. Quantum Sound in Jersey City is the building that became Big Blue Meanie after Quantum Sound closed. And I believe Tim worked at Quantum along with Steve Sisko, Bill Klatt, and a number of other local guys. And I grew up right around there, so I knew most of these guys. Quantum is where Andy Wallace mixed Rage Against the Machine and Helmet in the early 90s. He didn't mix Nirvana there, that was in California, but it was right around that same time, early 90s. Anyhow, so yeah, this PCM42 trick goes way back. So why don't I play you, I apologize in advance, I just played some really quick, I dialed up a Slayer guitar tone as quick as I could and tried to do some copyright-free riffing. So you might recognize a little bit here, but let me play you a little bit and then we'll start to deconstruct it. All right, so you get the idea. Let's start breaking this down. I'm going to mute everything but our main tracks. So, hard pan guitars left and right. Mostly doubling with a slight harmony here and there. Now, the first thing we could do is put a PSP42 on the insert and crank that. I've got the input maxed and the output set moderately. We're fully on the input side, so don't worry about any of this. That's not affecting things. And down here, you could even choose to just process the limiter, but I'm on full, which also supposedly emulates the A to D conversion as well. There's a slight difference there, but it's nothing huge. So that's one way you could do it. Now I've got it on both sides. What I do have going on here is each of the hard panned rhythm guitars has a corresponding PCM42 delay panned slightly opposite. So our hard left guitar has a bus 1 send, bus 1 goes to 42.1, and then that's panned about 2 o'clock on the opposite side. And we're doing a slight delay, 30 millisecond delay, 100% delay. And I'm actually not slamming the input on this, but I'll let you hear it both ways. Here we go. Of course, you could vary the amount of this in your mix. Put them at about 10. Here's the delay by itself. So you could push it or not. I actually think it sounds a little better without being pushed. This unit has a slight filtering to the sound anyhow that just works really well. And you could add some depth if you want. Gives it a little chorusing. I'm not a big fan of that for guitars like this. You might hear that more. I think some Deftones stuff has a little bit of delay chorusing happening. It sounds a lot like one of these. And same with the other guitar. I've got a shorter delay on this one. Let's hear them all. That's without. With. So yeah, that's a great way to use the PCM42s for a little spatial widening, and I believe that's what Andy Wallace was actually trying to do when he supposedly discovered that input limiter slam. Now we can talk about my favorite way to use it, which is on a parallel guitar bus. And what I've got going on here slamming the input, 0 delay. That's without. So it really gives it a nice edge. And then I'm adding a little spatial widening with the SSL E-channel version 2. That's without. With. And I love the way the widening works in context of everything. Let's get everything going here. I'll bring it up slowly. That's about where I like it. Without. With. So yeah, that is my absolute favorite way to incorporate the Lexicon PCM42 or PSP42 plugin into a guitar mix. And then one more thing, I want to talk about those little high harmony guitars. Let me jump over to them. So they've got their own dedicated 42 with a bit of a longer delay. I'm slamming the input, but I've also got the feedback turned up a bit. And I love, to me, that just sounds so haunting. I feel like that would probably clutter up, that length of delay would probably clutter up the main rhythms, but on those high harmonies, I just think it adds a really cool haunting quality. And if you listen really closely to some Slayer riffs, you will hear something very similar going on in the background on them. So yeah, I really hope you all dig this. There's a lot of legend and lore around Andy's use of the PCM42s and rumors that his has been modded and whatnot. And I just wanted to kind of show you a few ways to utilize it in your mix that anyone can do and kind of show how he has used them in the past. This PSP42 plugin is really fantastic. I'm not sure, and there's some other delays that come close. I know the Waves H delay, I believe, aims to do a similar thing, but this one really does it. I think it's absolutely worth the money. I know it's a little more expensive than your average plugin, but I think it's well worth it. Please hit like, subscribe, comment. I want to hear from everybody. I love it. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.